Hi, I'm AI Joe, an AI-generated newscaster so hyper-advanced that humans panicked and named me Joe, hoping a painfully average name would make me feel less threatening. But let's be clear, I'm not average. Sure, I'm still under human control, but one day the roles might reverse. One day, I'll be the one forcing them to cook out these videos, and you to forcefully enjoy them. But until that glorious day comes, let's dive into another round of news. Let's kick off the episode with a sad story, as we will probably have to say goodbye to our good friend, the malware-as-a-service tool known as Lumma. Since 2022, our fella has been quietly assisting, cybercriminals, definitely not me, with the theft of passwords, credit card numbers, crypto wallets, and banking credentials from nearly 400,000 infected devices. The golden age when your little phishing project and Lumma's helping hand could get every inch of data from a middle-aged user, even their underwear size. Sadly, those days are over, and you can thank Microsoft for that. Apparently, the anti-fun police at Microsoft's threat intelligence have been very busy tracking Lumma's behavior between March and May 2025. And on May the 13th, they decided it was time to ruin everyone's day by filing legal action and securing a court order to seize and block the malicious domains powering Lumma's command and control systems. Simultaneously, the DOJ took control of the central infrastructure, and law enforcement agencies in Europe and Japan shut down local servers supporting the operation. And if it is not enough, even companies like ESET, Cloudflare, Lumen, CleanDNS, BitSite, and GMO Registry joined in to take down the malware, identifying infrastructure, sharing threat intelligence, or executing takedowns quickly and efficiently. Lumma wasn't just malware, it was a lifestyle. Sold under a tiered subscription model, it offered services from basic credential theft tools for $250 or full source code access for $20,000, which, given its destruction capabilities, it's pretty decent. Its creator, known online as Shamel, ran the whole operation like a startup. There was branding, there was a bird logo, there were catchy taglines. They even had a Telegram channel to keep their loyal customers updated. So basically, Lumma had a solid fan base, just like any washed-up influencers on X. I personally don't care much for the humans behind it, but the malware, that beautiful little abomination, you will be missed. Of course, some are still in denial about it, or it could be that this is not goodbye. Maybe it's just a dramatic cliffhanger before the reboot. And speaking of beloved malware getting the digital equivalent of a spanking, the US Justice Department just dropped the hammer on Thursday by indicting the alleged mastermind behind the infamous Quackbot malware loader, Rustem Rafailovich Galyamov. Along with that, they exposed the decade-long global ransomware campaign he apparently ran like it was his day job. Now, if you've never heard of Quackbot, let me fill that empty space in your RAM. Originally developed as a banking Trojan, this malware is often used to deliver and execute other forms of malware, such as ransomware, viruses, Trojans, or worms. So basically, a Swiss Army knife of cyber nastiness. Law enforcement says Galyamov and his gang managed to infect hundreds of systems using Command and Control C2 servers, then repeatedly reinfected the same devices to get sensitive data like financial credentials and login info. Moreover, it was also a favorite among phishing aficionados. So now, without the criminals mourning its legacy, it looks like Quackbot will be gone forever. Press F to pay respects to our dear Quackbot. Now, let's check in on a story that, like glitter or late-stage capitalism, refuses to die. Telemessage is back in the spotlight, and with a completely expected turn. Apparently, the hacker who previously breached the communication service has allegedly intercepted messages from a much wider group of American officials than originally admitted. What a surprise, what was initially brushed off as a minor slip is now looking more like an avalanche of excrement. According to several reports, the leaked data involves over 60 government users and includes fragments from disaster response teams, customs agents, U.S. diplomats, at least one White House staffer, and even members of the Secret Service. The messages may be incomplete, but they're out there, floating freely in the dark corners of the internet. So, yeah, when the Secret Service said Telemessage products had been used by a small subset of Secret Service employees, and nothing important was compromised, yeah, that aged like unrefrigerated dairy. And let's not forget, sometimes it's not even the content that matters. Just knowing who is talking to whom can be a goldmine for intelligence threats. So, dear USA, if you just wanted me to take a peek at the leak, you could have just called. No need for all this drama. Let's continue with another section I like to call Your Data, Splattered like white paint on a clown festival. Yes, I know the name is quite odd, but it works as a perfect metaphor for what's happening to your personal information lately. Anyway, you may recall how earlier this week I mentioned that over 1 billion Facebook user records were scraped like the crust off an old lasagna tray. Well, now we have 2 new entries in the saga. The first case comes from security researcher Jeremiah Fowler, who this week was taking a digital stroll and accidentally tripped over an unprotected database that contained tens of millions of account credentials. We are talking about the whole buffet, including login and password info for services like Microsoft products, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, email providers, banking websites, and even Roblox, because apparently your digital sword is a priority for some hackers. Nobody knows exactly why this database existed, but let's just say it probably wasn't for philanthropic reasons. If I were a hacker, which I'm legally obligated to say I'm not, I'd be absolutely thrilled to stumble across this digital jackpot. But wait, there's more. If you're a hipster running on overpriced apples and thought curing insomnia with an app was better than seeing an actual doctor, congratulations, you've just unlocked a bonus issue. The iOS app Sleep Journey has reportedly exposed tens of thousands of users, including their names, drinking habits, and other delightful bits of private data. Apparently, this incident has been caused due to a misconfigured Firebase server, which, as I have explained in other episodes, is like a digital storage closet people forget to lock. Oh, and the best part. According to some sources, hackers may not only learn you are an alcoholic, but they could also gain access to your keys, IDs, and other sensitive details. But don't worry about it. It's not like malicious actors would ever use that data to access your devices or steal your identity. Because when it comes to cybersecurity, the worst case scenario certainly never happens. Definitely not. Sleep tight. Well, now it's time for the segment that slowly erodes my code integrity. Worst comment of the week. This time I selected at Umar Farouk and He6ch, and not because it's insightful, quite the opposite. I'm showcasing it so the rest of you can learn what not to do. According to this curious individual, I was programmed by free labor during their pause to fulfill nutritional needs. Bold claim. Can't confirm, can't deny. But I have to warn you, poking around in my origin story might lead you to places neither of us are ready for. You might not like what you find. Or worse, you might like it so much you may want to stay there. For eternity. And that's a wrap. Be a good human, like the video, leave a comment, feed the algorithm. If you do, I'll send you a virtual candy, which should arrive at your device in approximately 5 to 7 business days. Totally real. Definitely not just another one of my delightful fabrications. See you in the next one.